What role is the worst to play in Overwatch? It's tank. It's tank. Come on. Now, if you know Overwatch and like any sort of like continuity or anything like that, you would know that like tank mains have been suffering ever since the release of Overwatch 2. A lot of people that main support will tell you support's the worst to play, but no. It's tank by a large margin. Like, here's the thing. I main Ramatra, and that character already has like a weird like skill cap. You know what I mean? But I swear to God, this game makes me want to brain myself on my desk every time I even decide up to load tank on queue instead of DPS or support. Here's the thing about tank, right? Is that when you're the tank, by default, and a lot of people will feel some type of way about this, by default, you are the leader of your team. And I know it's gonna sound weird, but you are leading pushes, you are the front line. Wherever you go, your team most likely has to go unless you're Ball, Diva, Doomfist, whatever have you, right? So they're almost always behind you. They're almost waiting on your timing. So you need to have a certain level of game sense in order to accurately play tank. But there is so much shit in this fucking game that will prevent you from having a good time and prevent you from doing your job accurately that it's not even worth queuing up. Why the fuck would I want to be the only tank on my team to get discorded, hit with 25% damage increase, get frozen by a fucking Mei, get hindered by a goddamn Cassidy, or get fucking sucked to death by a no-skill fucking TikTok Moira? It's dog shit. It's terrible. I hate it. You don't have another tank to rely on in these team fights, man. And I understand why they went to 5v5. I understand why 6v6 was ass. You know, no one liked Sigma or Rissa. No one liked fucking Ryan Sigma. No one liked that double shield shit. Like, it was awful, right? But they need to tone it down with this CC. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Like, as a person that mains Zenyatta, he already makes your life terrible regardless of who you play. But when you're playing tank and you're playing like Orisa against a Zen, you're basically throwing because you're just gonna fucking die because you are so wide and all of that damage is gonna come straight to you. Never mind the fact that like it's way harder to carry on tank as opposed to like these other roles because you can kind of have someone pick up your slack. If you don't, there is no one else to take the heat off of you in these team fights. You are the only one that's gotta sit there and just eat all this damage or absorb it if you can, if you're not on CD, you know what I mean? You're the only one that's gotta sit there and try to deal with all this shit. Never mind the fact you have to sometimes deal with a tank that will ignore you and go straight to your backlines. I'm seeing it more and more in these higher ranks. I promise you, a lot of these Junker Queens, they won't even fight the other tank. They'll just go fight a support and then they'll win the team fight, which is understandable. I get it. That's what you should be doing. But it just, it's way harder to carry on tank than it is to carry on DPS and carry on support. When you carry with support, okay, you know that you can put out a certain level of damage. You can keep your team up in these team fights, even if they are not the best at, you know, duels and all of that. They can still do some stuff, right? If you're on DPS and you're actually putting out damage, say you're not, you know, getting the kills, say your you know, kill count is still pretty low, but you're still outputting damage, your other support or your other tank, they can probably keep it up, or you know, support, and then they're actually putting out some damage, helping out with that. With tank, if you're just getting fucked, most likely you're just gonna die, right? It's just non-stop pain and suffering. Why the fuck did they decide to have Cassidy get an ability that can slow down any movement abilities? I don't, what? On top of Mei got the same buff in the same patch? I don't understand. Look at these videos of Diva trying to fly away from a Mei. It's terrible. It's awful. So now you're just seeing a lot more people start playing Reinhardt and Zarya just to kind of like just totally shield themselves from any kind of damage that they're going to take. Now Reinhardt mains are always going to, you know, claim that that's their favorite character, but even still, man, it's really fucking hard to play Reinhardt sometimes because you got all these DPS that can just shred your shield and just say fuck you, here you go. Or you have characters like Ramatra who can go through your shield. Even though I like playing Ramatra doesn't have like a self-heal or anything like that. He doesn't have that much sustain by himself besides getting armor, so you gotta rely on your supports. But if your supports are getting dope, oh, you better pray to God that you gotta figure something out, because oh man, you're probably gonna fucking die if you're down to support. I'm losing my composure with this video. I just hate playing tank. I really hate it. It hurts my balls, honestly. It really does. Like, specifically, my right nut just shrivels up every time I like decide to queue. And here's the thing, right? say you're playing a DPS and your other DPS isn't getting kills, there's still a distinct possibility that your other tank is simply doing some stuff too. But if neither of your DPS are getting kills and just getting shit on, you're most likely gonna lose the match. There's nothing you can do. If there's a Widow that's like fucking up your backline and you decide to like, okay, well, I'm gonna go kill her as Diva or Ball, there's no one else to protect your team from the front line. So more often than not, they just fucking fold instantly and just get wiped out. It's just, oh. Anyway, I'm gonna stop recording here. I just had to rant really quickly because my blood pressure's high and this game stresses me out. But yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. What do you guys think is the worst? It's tank. I don't really care what anybody else has to say. Goodbye.